What a game. Notre Dame 70, Syracuse 7, just like we all thought Notre Dame would. Seriously, I tweeted early in the game that they were on pace for like 200 points. I think it was at 28-0 with 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Seriously, was a wild game. And with me today, we have Tim Four, played at Walsh University, has coached for a long time, and is a lifelong Notre Dame follower. So, Tim, heck of a game for your debut on the Blue and Gold YouTube channel. Welcome in, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. And couldn't be happier to be here. And the big thing, as you said, this was a culture game for Notre Dame. This was the exact type of game that they needed at this point in the season. It just solidifies that Marcus Freeman is a November coach.
Yeah.
And as a leader, the standard is the standard. And when you're playing against a team that you should throttle like this, like they knew they had to throttle, they come out and they do it, leave zero doubt for the playoff committee, and that's exactly what the Irish did today.
Yeah, it's especially good when you look at I don't know how much the committee's going to look at the Miami Syracuse thing and be like, oh, well, they won by 28 points. So when you beat a team by 28 points, that's a good thumping. But I don't know if they're 70-7, 38-10. I don't know, but that it can't hurt. If that Notre Dame or if the committee even goes down that route. I will say I'm a little disappointed with CJ Carr only throwing for 49 yards.
I think it was 5 of 9 passing, something like that.
5 of 9. I'm obviously joking, but yeah, we'll dive into all aspects of this game. Of course, folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the channel for more content. Love was fantastic. 8 carries for 171 yards and the 3 touchdowns. Tim, you're an Ohio guy.
Yes.
There was a game a few years ago at the high school level between IMG Academy and Bishop Sycamore, and that game was played in Canton, Ohio. If my memory serves me correctly, I watched that game on TV. I remember thinking, what the heck is Bishop Sycamore? Now that's a whole story in itself. But those were 2 teams that should not have been on the same field. And Notre Dame beat Syracuse worse than IMG beat Bishop Sycamore. Tim, these 2 teams look like they were in completely different stratospheres. This was a complete and utter beatdown, and I don't mean any disrespect to Syracuse, but Notre Dame outclassed them.
Absolutely. And so when we're talking about a Syracuse team, you got to remember, this is the same Syracuse team that beat Clemson earlier in this year. Yes, obviously they lost their quarterback, and it's been a complete free fall for them since then, but you don't beat a team like Clemson on accident if the program is completely devoid of talent. And Fran Brown, despite the beatdown today, he's a good football coach. He will likely get a bigger job elsewhere. But as you said, Syracuse was completely outclassed by Notre Dame today, and Notre Dame came in, and Mike, I even said this in our pregame notes. I said, the ideal start is a shock and awe from Notre Dame. And boy, was that exactly what they delivered, and that's what they needed to.
Yeah, you mentioned Fran Brown. He probably isn't going to get that job soon, a bigger job now.
But
he will.
There, but he's a good coach. He is a good football coach.
He is. If you're just joining us, Mike Singer live with Tim Four. Had a cup of coffee, playing some collegiate football, and has coached and is scouted for a long time. Really good football mind, and is a member of the Blue and Gold message board. That's how I met Tim. So excited to have him on here. And I was like, it's either I go solo or I bring in Tim Four to see how he is on this. I was like, all right, let's do it. So Tim Four, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up, of course, on this video. Let us know what you're thinking about the game if you're watching live or watching back. A super chat here from Andrew. Now, I'm guessing this is 10 Rand, the $5, with the Canadian, toonies or whatever. YouTube did something where it changed it from the usernames to the little @ So Andrew, you're doxing yourself here. Sorry about that. It's YouTube's fault, not mine. He says He's laughing his ass off. Literally every single person contributed. I heard names of guys I had no clue existed. Fun to see so many have a moment on senior day, which is what you want.
Absolutely.
In a senior day, right, Tim? Just get everyone out. Now we'll talk about a couple of injury notes, but for the most part, I mean, this was a perfect day for Notre Dame, besides Syracuse getting that last touchdown.
Yeah, offense, defense, special teams, everybody did well today. You really can't pinpoint a specific point, any position group, any phase of the big three: offense, defense, special teams, that didn't absolutely deliver in spades. And the best thing about it is early in this I called it a culture game, and that's because, man, as a coach, it is so hard, whether you're up 56-0 or down 56-0, to get your guys to keep playing, keep plugging, and keep, driving. And again, we talk about the standard. So when you talk about a guy like Jalen Stroman, who had a career night tonight, it's because he got his opportunity. And in Marcus Freeman's program, when you get an opportunity, you better seize it. And when those second string guys come in, guess what? It matters to them. Mm-hmm. And again, that's the sign of a healthy, strong program that Marcus Freeman has set up for long-term success to compete for championships. And again, so hey, look, 70-7, hey, that's nice and everything, but you got to look at the effort when those second string guys come in both offense and defense, because it mattered to them, because they know that's their opportunity. They know those are the reps, and that's the sign of a great program.
Yeah, so people are already talking in the chat. Yeah, Kingston is one of them, talking possible ACL. I mean, I don't know who out there is putting that out. I don't know how they could possibly know at this point really what it is, but Kingston did look pretty beat up on the sideline. So if that is an extended injury, obviously Kingston Villiam-Muasa, an incredible player. And yeah, you were texting me during the game, Tim. He looked pissed.
Dude is a thumper. And that's a guy that you need on your defense and you want on your defense, because he delivers every time he's on the field. But when they did show him on the sideline, he's got the red eyes and, just kind of staying by himself. Usually that's not a good sign.
Yep. $5 super chat from Moth. He says, last week I apologized to Chris Ash. This week I spelled his name right and proposed to him. Okay, Austin. Yeah, I mean, dude, from the get-go, and Tim, we're going to watch some tape from some highlights of the game here in a bit. But yeah, so this is fun for me because I respect Tim's football mind, but I've never really gotten his opinion on things. So I don't know if he was on like the fire Chris Ash train, after, the A&M or Purdue game. So I get to learn as you guys do. But yeah, thoughts on the turnaround for this defense, and then what did you think about it? After game 2 or 3.
So after the Miami game, I was, hairs on the back of my neck were standing up. Maybe spidey sense tingling a little bit. After the second game, I had my pitchfork, but I hadn't put hay on it and set it on fire yet. There was that level of concern, because it wasn't that the talent wasn't there. The problem was that you were seeing mass confusion in the secondary. And Notre Dame has 2 position groups that I would say that are the most talented in college football. I believe Notre Dame's secondary is the most talented in college football, and I believe Notre Dame's running back room is the most talented in college football. So if you have a secondary that has the talent to be the best, and they are, constantly, if you remember in those first 2 games, you'd see DBs pointing at each other and making mistakes. That was what really oh man, we really got to fix this. And I did suggest that, Freeman maybe has to take more of an active hand on it. But, again, I'll say things like this is why I'm not a coach anymore instead of, still being a coach. But no, Chris Ash has done a spectacular job since then. It might have just been sometimes it just takes a couple games to gel. Yeah. And again, when you talk about the long-term prognostication of the season, I think when you look at the selection committee and, the guys that are talking glowingly about Notre Dame are the former coaches, because they understand there is, while, top 2 games, most difficult games on the schedule, Notre Dame did lose those 2 games, and they absolutely should be, knocked down a little bit for that. But you're seeing a complete gel on the defense. You're seeing that secondary play like the best secondary in college football. And you're also seeing that offense gel together as well. So, hat in hand, Chris Ash, love you, buddy. Do you want me to send you an edible arrangement? I can send it here from Akron. I can have it in South Bend tomorrow. You're crushing it.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's like a reporter or a YouTuber out there or someone who has said that like Freeman is babysitting Ash, right? I've seen this comment from the like something similar to what I have up on the screen right now from people for weeks now. I did my like weekly Chris Ash is a good DC tweet, a little while ago. And surely enough, someone's like, you know what? It's actually Marcus Freeman's running the defense. And I'm like, again, I don't know if this is just like a snowball from like YouTube comments and Twitter people, or if someone actually is out there getting people to believe in that. Tim mentioned, and we've talked about this because Freeman said it in his press conference that he had I'll call it like a come to Jesus moment with the defensive staff, as he should have. He needed to step in and help turn this thing around. But to think that became Freeman is somehow secretly the defensive coordinator is leading the defense. Guys, you can watch, like you could go to a Notre Dame football game and just watch Marcus Freeman. You tell me if you think he's calling the defense. It's Chris Ash. Chris Ash is the defensive coordinator. And you know what? I even texted like 2 or 3 people just in the past week who would know. And I was like, hey, I keep seeing this comment from Notre Dame fans. Is this true? You know what? Let me just pull up the last text I got on it. And I'll read it to you. Give me a second. I know exactly who it was from. I said, hey, I keep getting fans telling me that Freeman is the reason the defense is turned around and that Ash is being babysat. Is that true whatsoever? No. We just have really good players. Like, they figured it out. So it happens. Like, this is football, man. You play shitty, and then you figure things out, and then you start playing really well. All right, go ahead, Tim.
Oh, sorry about that. So yeah, that's the sign of a great leader. When things are starting to veer off course, what does a great leader do? They center and they come around and they band together. And you empower the people that you hire. You don't hire someone unless, and this is in business and in football, you don't hire someone unless you think they can do the job. And Marcus Freeman clearly hired Chris Ash because he thought he could do the job. And he just said, hey, we got to change course. And I'm trusting you to get this job done. And what did Chris Ash do? He delivered. He got the job done. So that, that's a credit to both of them. And as a cohesive staff that works together and doesn't fracture, they solidified at the most critical moment in the season when it could have gone a completely different way. So they get credit for that.
Yeah, comment from Duke here. He says, I like this guy, Tim, a Notre Dame fan with coaching experience. Gives him a cool perspective, Yeah, look at me.
So we don't have to shut down the site, Mike.
I'm doing another YouTube show with a guy named Tim who's a lifelong Notre Dame fan with coaching experience. Who would have thunk it? Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Talking Notre Dame's 70-7 win over Syracuse. My prediction was 52-6, or I'm sorry, 42-6. I can't give myself that much credit. And Notre Dame made me look silly by like the end of the first quarter. And again, we're gonna watch some highlights here in a moment. As we are live here at 6:54 Eastern time, Oregon up 35-27 fairly early in the fourth quarter. So if you're a Notre Dame fan, you are rooting for USC to beat Oregon. That would have to knock Oregon out of the field, and that honestly might put USC in the field. They would be right there, and it would help Notre Dame because that USC Notre Dame, like like Notre Dame's head-to-head against USC is the committee's going to view that differently than they view the Notre Dame Miami game, just based on how all of those teams are playing and when the game took place. Agree with it or not, that's just the situation at hand.
And Notre Dame fans, you have to be okay with saying a USC win is good for the Irish. And also, you got to admit, man, Mekhi Lemon, that dude is unreal.
Yeah.
Got to give them their flowers for some of the things that they do well. Hey, he goes, I'll catch my first strays from Notre Dame fans here, but a USC win is good for the Irish here.
It is. How about the comment? I did not realize that the broadcast crew said Notre Dame has not made a field goal since the NC State game. Now, they haven't really needed to, but that's the USC, BC, Navy, Pitt, and Syracuse. That's 5 straight games Notre Dame has not made a field goal. They haven't attempted one. It's probably since. Well, they missed the 46-yarder against Pitt. I don't think they attempted one against Navy. And I can't remember the Boston College off the top of my head. No, I think they missed field goals against. Was that the game where Notre Dame fell apart with their kicking? Was that the BC game?
Yes. Yeah, I believe that's the game where they had the 3 different kickers miss 3 different extra points, and that was a wish we had Lou moment there of trying to find a comp for that.
Oh yeah,
that was not a good day to be a fan of the Irish there.
Yeah,
or a fan of just competent football in general.
Yeah, this game is what that one should have been. Like Notre Dame should have beaten the doors off of Boston College.
Absolutely.
I said in a show the other day that like I felt like Boston College was like a bad team, but they're still playing for their coaches, still fighting hard. I was like, dude, I don't know if Syracuse is that. And Jack Sobel was like, no, Mike, Syracuse. Here we are, 70-7. Dude, you know, we were texting before the game. You said Love is your most exciting Notre Dame player since Rocket. Can you expand on that? Yeah, Jeremiah Love he's got to be invited to New York, right?
Yeah. So the Heisman Award is the most outstanding player in college football. As much as I love Mendoza and as much as I liked Sand, but man, there is nobody that puts on a show every Saturday like Jeremiah Love. He's one of those guys I happily plop down $100 for a ticket for anytime he's on the field. And there is nobody like that. And, talking about my Notre Dame fandom, literally one of my earliest memories as a person, I'm 42 now. I remember sitting on my dad's lap watching the Notre Dame Colorado game with the Phantom clip. And I remember my dad just losing it so much. And watching Rocket play was what made me fall in love with football. And so when I compare him to Rocket, I mean, for me personally, that's a very deep thing. And watching him, you literally, anytime he touches the ball, doesn't matter if he's catching it, running it, or if you put him in the return game, he literally can take it to the house. And you can have breakdowns and blocking because we've seen him break those long ones too. Yeah. When someone's missed a block and he makes guys in the open field look absolutely ridiculous. There is nobody in my lifetime that I can think of that puts on a show like Jeremiah Love.
John says Love needs more Heisman love. I don't know if he's just going for a punt. What? I mean, sure, yes, so, love for Heisman, but everyone is talking about Jeremiah Love. Notre Dame nationally, there is going to be haters, but that's in life. That's everyone. Everyone's got haters. That's fine. If you have haters, you're relevant. Like it, whatever. But everyone is talking about Notre Dame. Like you just scroll Twitter, it's like all the big Barstool guys, Busted with the Boys, and like all the top people at ESPN are tweeting about Notre Dame every single week because of Jeremiah Love.
He transcends the Notre Dame hate.
Yeah,
he's that special that you have to pay notice.
Marcus Freeman has been a huge part of that. I think he's made Notre Dame likable for a lot of people who maybe didn't like Notre Dame nationally, and they've switched allegiances. And Jeremiah Love is just so spectacular that everyone wants to talk about him. Like all these national, podcasters and whatever. I'm scrolling my Twitter during the game, and I was like, I can't believe how many people are talking about Notre Dame in this blowout against Syracuse. Mm-hmm. It's just not normal. I felt like it's in large part due to Jeremiah Love. So Mr. 2 Point here said the media is getting behind the J Love Heisman train. It's awesome. See, I completely agree with this. Like I think that his stats are great, but it's really difficult to get that invite as a running back. But it's like the amount of spectacular plays he's had and just all the notoriety he's getting, like everyone loves Jeremiah Love. It's not like who out there is like, I don't like Jeremiah Love. Like Miami fans who just want to talk about that one game. Like, like the guy is very likable.
Absolutely. And so when you compare him to the other top Heisman contenders, Mendoza had that statement drive to seal the game against Penn State, and saying he's, again, very talented, but I think he is going to get docked for the fact that he is throwing to an NFL caliber wide receiver room right now. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I mean, I think that's a fair statement. If Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate were coming out in this year's draft, I believe both of them would probably be top 15 picks. Smith probably a top 5 pick. So, you know, in that offense, he has set up its timing, its production. It was kind of the same argument that dinged a lot of the air raid guys in the past. But no, they're both spectacular players, but there is nobody that drops jaws like Jeremiah Smith. There is nobody that does what he does. And I think that both of those guys are boring. It's boring to see someone throw up stats, against teams that maybe a little bit less than. And I understand that Jeremiah Love did that, but in his 8 carries for 171 yards and 3 touchdowns today, he still did some stuff that you went, whoa, like, wow, there's not a lot of people that can do that. And just the way he just effortlessly just pulls away from people, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, he is. He's so damn fast. He truly is just a special all-around back. Ricardo Lewis says, what happened to Tay Johnson? So yeah, news got out Friday that he had a hand injury. This is the update from the press conference. Freeman said Tay Johnson got hurt punching a ball out in practice. And it also appears that it is not a long-term injury. 2 games at max, 1 game minimum.
That's so good. With Stanford coming,
So 2 games max would be, if it's bad, it sounds like, it's not like Notre Dame plays the week after Stanford. Like that, assuming they beat Stanford and make the playoff game, that's December 20th, right around there. So it sounds like Tay Johnson should be fine. And it sounds like we do not have any updates on Kingston Viliamuasa from the press conference. So we will learn more about his status unless someone else has, a credible outlet puts out something between now and Monday. We will learn more about Kingston's status on Monday when we get that injury report from the school. Tim, if I would have told you before the game, CJ Carr would throw for 49 yards and Syracuse would have the football 41 minutes and 49 seconds, would you have thought that meant good or bad for Notre Dame?
I would have thought that if you gave me those stats, I would have said Syracuse mucked it up. They were somehow able, because I liken the Syracuse QB to I told you he's a homeless man's Diego Pavia. He does a lot of arm punting. Not a good thrower, but a very good athlete. That's why he was a top flight lacrosse guy. So with that, I was like, man, okay, maybe they're just breaking some runs, because we've seen that where we don't always do the best with containing quarterback running. So I would have thought, oh God, a lot of 3rd and 2s that they get 3 yards, a lot of 3rd down conversions and things like that. But no, absolutely not. I would have thought, maybe, okay, if we win like 21-7 or something like that, but not what we saw tonight.
Truly was a bizarre one. Listen, folks, hit the thumbs up. Oh, okay. I did see Deuce Knight against Mercer. The passing numbers weren't great, but the guy went crazy on the ground. 4 rushing touchdowns, 170 yards or something like that. Happy for
did he do it on 8 carries?
I don't think so. It was a little bit more than 8 carries, but happy for Deuce. I hope he starts against Alabama. That will be a lot of fun. Like, hey, welcome to college football, Deuce Knight. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel for more content. If you're wondering who the heck is on the screen with me, this is Tim Four, Ohio guy. Played for a short time playing college football. A coach and just a longtime scout. So happy to have Tim on with us talking Notre Dame's big win over Syracuse. I teased this earlier in the week. Still have not opened up this box. Got this. It's a Starbucks box, but there's not Starbucks in here. I looked at the label, and based on who it's from, It's not a Starbucks box. Okay. Or I'm sorry, it is a Starbucks box, but there's not coffee in there. We are going to open up this box. I'm about 95% sure what it is, but we're going to open up the box tomorrow live during the six-pack show. Excuse me. Take that back. Roundtable show tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern time is when it starts. So we will do that tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be me, Eric Hansen, and at least 2 other blue and gold writers. So really looking forward to that. So what the heck is in the box? We will find out. All right.
Only Brad Pitt knows.
Only Brad Pitt.
I'm glad you got the reference there.
Usually I just say I don't answer. I don't respond to that when it comes to movies because I got flamed for a movie that I had not seen. So ever since that, even when my father-in-law, oh, you ever see this? Nope, don't answer that question because I don't want to. Oh, you've never seen that movie? Oh my God, we got to go watch that movie. Oregon now up 2 scores with 5.5 minutes left. So it's not dire at all for Notre Dame that Oregon's beating USC. It would just been very ideal. It's just Oregon now is they're basically, who do they have next week? I don't know, but they're sitting pretty, right? Oregon is sitting very pretty. They're going to be close to,
I'm pretty sure it's Washington.
Washington. That's right. They had Iowa, USC, Washington. I mean, if they beat Washington, which has had a decent little season, like they could be knocking on the door of. They might need some mayhem ahead of them. They could be knocking on the door of a top 4 seed, potentially. Now they won't play in the Big Ten title game though. So yeah, you know what? Probably not then. Probably not, because you're going to have Ohio State and Indiana unless those 2 teams, fall next week. Anyways, yeah, Oregon's probably not going to get a bye, but Oregon is pretty comfortably in the playoff at this point. Ahead of Notre Dame, but the Irish just have to take care of business against Stanford, and they Tim, I do think they're going to end up in that 8-9 game. That's what it looks like, and the 9 seed I think is probably the worst seed to have in the bracket because you're on the road against the 8. And it's not like there's a big difference between the 7 and the 8 seed, like in terms of how good the team is. But you go on the road against the 8 seed, and then you have to play the 1, presumably Ohio State. That's not an easy run. If I had to guess right now, I'd say Notre Dame's going to be playing in that game, probably as the 9.
Yeah, and I believe the most recent bracket has Oklahoma at the 8, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And just on that, I'm a big John Mateer guy. I think he's a great college quarterback. He's finally getting healthy from a broken hand that he suffered earlier in the season, and that's kind of why you're seeing Oklahoma kind of on that upswing. So brother, Oklahoma is going to be a tough out.
Yeah.
And then you run into Ohio State, which they are the number 1 team for the reason. Spoiler, living in Akron, Ohio, it's hard to be around a lot of Ohio State fans a lot of the time. But the fact of the matter is this: they are the best team in the country. I believe that there's a pretty sizable gap between them and Texas A&M. And if Notre Dame ends up playing Ohio State, secondary has to play an absolutely perfect game. And Notre Dame as a whole has to put something together.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where Notre Dame can win that game. They're going to need to play a really tight game to do that.
I talked to someone who I really trust in college football, and look, my Saturdays are pretty dedicated just to Notre Dame and then my family. So I don't get to watch a whole lot of other teams. But I pay attention to everything. I'll watch highlights and stuff. But like, from what I know about Ohio State and talking to people who know a lot more ball than I do, they're like, their skilled players are incredible, but like in the trenches, they're not as good as they were last year. So I think that when I heard that, I was like, okay, Notre Dame, like you could hang with them. You could potentially beat them. But man, if you're anywhere on like the right side of the bracket, yeah, I would feel a lot more comfortable. Swan Dong said, would love to see Ohio State lose to Michigan. I know I have too much Michigan in my life. Like you just said, Tim, that you're in Akron, so you deal with more Ohio State. I have so much Michigan, whether it's friends or, just Michigan influence just put it like that I really don't want to see Michigan win that game. Just don't. I'm good. Don't want to see it. Don't want to see it.
The only way that will happen is if Ryan Day somehow gets in his feelings again and decides that he wants to play big man ball and run it into like a 9-man front like Michigan was doing last year. And really, it's just if Ryan Day decides to play feelings ball instead of realizing that he has the best skill players in the country, and you know what? Let's get the ball to him. Yeah. But no, I could easily see Ohio State boat racing Michigan when they play. Easily could see that.
I want to know the line. Is there a line out there yet?
There's probably a futures line. If it isn't 10 plus, I would be surprised, even though it's at Michigan. But yeah, there's just
12 and a half.
It's two teams going in. Okay, there you go. It's two teams going in different trajectories,
which we saw today. Notre Dame got the best of Syracuse. So let's continue talking about this game. Yeah, how about this? I saved a few tweets. This was from Horka a couple hours ago. He said Notre Dame is winning 21-0. And Notre Dame did not register a single offensive stat. Tim, have you ever seen anything like that?
So the only thing I can even remotely close to it, and Mike and I told you in my years of coaching, playing, scouting, and everything, I've probably watched north of 1,500 games. And I can only think of one that is even remotely close. I think it was 2006 or 2007 when I was a student assistant at Walsh University. And we played Ohio Dominican in the very first game that they had as a program. And they're a really nice program now. But the opening kickoff, they fumbled. We returned it for a touchdown. And then on next ensuing possession, we had a pick six there, and we were up 14-0. But it was nothing like that. But like that boom, boom right there up front, that's the only time I can think of anything where it was remotely close.
This exchange with Tim O'Malley and Horka cracked me up. Tim tweeted, through 4 changes of position, Notre Dame is without a first down offensively versus Syracuse, to which Tyler Horka says, fire Denbrock. Very
clearly not getting the job done.
Very well done. Tweet from Sobel. Marcus Freeman talks a lot about delayed gratification and working while you wait. A few better examples of that than Jalen Stroman, who was benched in September but started due to injury today. He did play really well. He had the pick six, which we'll watch in a little bit, that set the tone. He had the block punt that Luke Talich ended up picking up and returning for a touchdown. And then Syracuse had the ball 4th and 3 in Notre Dame territory, and he made a stop. Stroman also leading Notre Dame with 8 tackles, had the 2 TFLs, and of course the pick. All 8 of his tackles solo as well. What do you think about Jalen Stroman in that performance today?
Unbelievable game. And as I think that 4th down that you're alluding to is the one I kind of like made a special note of. I think it was 42-0 at that point when he made that 4th down stop. And that's the culture play right there. It's being happy with where you're at. I'd be pretty happy being up 42-0, but he's not satisfied. Jalen Stroman knew this was an opportunity to take his job back from Tay Johnson. And do you think that dude was going to let go of that? That was a dog fighting for a bone that entire game. He was unbelievable today. He deserves every ounce of credit. And man, when you bench a guy and then you bring him back and they perform like this, that is unbelievable. Just a really great day for him.
Yeah, very happy. Syracuse quarterbacks, 17 of 30, 95 yards, 3 picks. Let's watch one of those picks, and that was Leonard Moore. You can see him down at the bottom of the screen.
He's so good, man.
That's textbook coverage. I feel like this Syracuse quarterback probably knew pre-snap, I'm throwing this football no matter what. Like the kid was probably seeing ghosts. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, bait, step in front, go. Beautiful. As you said, yeah. Textbook.
Yeah, Leonard Moore has got to be up for the Thorpe, right? Like I haven't paid attention to that specific, but he has to be up for it.
Absolutely. Yep.
Let's watch a little Jeremiah Love. Isn't for lovely, and we're not talking about you, Tim. We're talking about Jeremiah Love, the vision, and then
watch that separation, speed. That second gear, man, unbelievable.
I know it's probably smaller on your screen, but any notes on the blocking here that you'd want to talk about?
Let me see it one more time. But on all of Love's big runs, man, it's a lot of second level blocking.
The
Looks
tight
like,
ends is what's. I mean, you see Washington and Raritan down here. I mean, they
yeah.
really seal this thing off.
Yeah, Raritan. Hey, I'm actually really impressed with Raritan's blocking this year as a whole. He has just done such a nice
Yeah,
job,
he gets
and
two there.
yeah, and when you have a breakaway back like Love, you don't need the crushing blocks, and that's a nice thing. You're not seeing like a lot of guys trying to do, even though it's illegal now, like the crackbacks or like the big hits and something like that. These other guys on this team, when you get to that second level, when you're at backers and secondary, you just got to screen him a little bit for just like that much, and he's gone. And a lot of that's the same with Price too. But yeah, just a good, really wash down. You saw it there with those tight ends, and just Love being Love, and just getting seeing that vision, one cut and go and separate.
Yeah.
Really, really impressive.
And then of course his fellow running back Jadarian Price. He can break one as well. This was to give Notre Dame a 35-0 lead. Great vision on this one, and I mean, Sullivan Absher, does a nice job washing, hidden down, and good cutback by Price. So, what do you see on this play?
Yeah, as you said, Absher's the key here, man. He just, he makes that play, he creates that gap, and Price does a great job of reading that. Again, one cut and go. Special players getting them the football. Absher has been such a good surprise this year when he had to step in when Schrouth went down. He has been really, really good, and I think he's going to be a cornerstone of this line here the next couple of years.
Just how bad was Syracuse? Like, were you surprised that I know they came into this game losing by, or losing 6 in a row, but you look at some of the scores, you're like, all right, they fought, they hung in there. Mm-hmm. 70-7 is a little bit different, though. I mean, were you surprised how bad they were?
Yeah, like I'm a sicko, so I've probably watched 4 or 5 Syracuse games this year, and you could see there's such a stark transition between the Syracuse team today versus the Syracuse team that had Steve Angeli. It's a major impact.
Yeah. How is it like a mental thing? It's like, oh, our quarterback's down. I think Steve was like the leader. I think everyone on that team respected Steve so much. Like I heard that he was still like, even in the recent weeks, like doing speeches to the team, like trying to keep them going, because Steve's just such like a pro as like a leader. So yeah, it's just wild that one guy like that can tank a team so much. Like Steve Angeli going down hurts the offense for sure. Ricky Collins, he was in a quarterback battle with Ricky Collins, right?
Was he though?
Technically, I would say that quarterback battle was more real than like Sam Hartman versus Buckner or Pine or whoever he was up against. Like it was more real than that. Mm-hmm. Or I guess it was Sam Hartman and Angeli, actually, not Buckner or Pine. But anyways, like, how does Angeli going down hurt the defense? Like, it really is just a mental thing.
It totally is, because when you're on a staff, when you have a star player go down, there is that conversation of, hey, how do you keep either a backup, so it would be Ricky Collins, or how do you keep the defense from pressing? When it's someone like that, you feel like you have to make up for that one person being down with every single play, because we know Steve's not going to be here to bail us out. So that's why, you saw as you said, right after that, you saw those little closer games where the defense was still fighting hard. But if you're fighting hard on the defense for week after week after week, and your offense is doing nothing for you, you have seen Ricky Collins airmail ball after ball. You now know you have a walk-on freshman lacrosse recruit as your starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And, and the other one, the Cardi kid, he's a true freshman, right? He's a true freshman from Texas. So now you have a walk-on freshman and a true freshman. If you're on the defense, how are you going to stay motivated, knowing that you could probably give up 14 to 17 points to any team and just know that you're going to be lucky to hit 7 or 10?
Yeah.
So when you talk about the totality of it, that's how it plays into effect. And when somebody is not only your starting quarterback, but also the heartbeat of the team, the emotional leader. And hey, we're Mike and I are charter members of the Steve Angeli fan club. So, we know the good things that he does for a program. But, that does have that ripple effect when you have someone that goes down like that.
So you were a big Steve guy?
Yeah. And, it was one of those things where, he had a ceiling. I always thought he had a ceiling.
Yeah.
But if you had asked me, I would have thought this was going to be the year that Carr really sat and tried to do some more mop-up time, and Angeli was going to be the starter going into this year. But I was also a big Kenny Minchie guy and thought that Denbrock might lean onto him because of his history of preferring more mobile quarterbacks. So when it got down to those two in the fall camp, but yeah, I thought Minchie was going to be the guy that actually got squeezed out in the spring. And it even actually wouldn't have surprised me if Carr had gotten squeezed out in the spring for the top two. And this was before we know now what CJ Carr is today versus what we thought he could be in the spring. I don't think Mike and I don't think you thought he'd be this good this year.
Carr?
Yeah. Being one of the top three quarterbacks in college football.
I don't. Is he a top three? You think he's a top three quarterback in college football right now?
Today, yeah.
Wow.
Today.
I mean, you're so saying Mendoza right
Gruden.
There. Yeah. I mean, John Gruden.
A thing or two about QBs. He loves everybody, though.
John Gruden loves everybody. That's what I'm going to say. Everyone
Let's send him a free
best.
hat, and he's going to tell us that we look good.
Yeah, I mean, Carr is, he's only going to get even better and better. But it's Mendoza, it's saying, are in your top three. And then, Carr he would be in the discussion, especially when you're looking at long term, NFL. It's and this guy's a redshirt freshman. Yeah, I do.
The way he throws those out passes, man, that's so advanced for how he can that ball placement that he has. And my hesitation with Carr coming out of high school was, and now I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the reality of the situation was that he was constantly short arming stuff and taking mustard off his passes because his receivers couldn't hack it. I mean, bottom line, he was too much for them. And now we're seeing, this is what we thought. Because I was like, man, do we got an upgraded version of Tommy Reese? That's kind of what I thought we were going to get with him coming in. I did not think his arm was as strong as it is.
Yeah, and
I'm so comfortable.
Yeah, Mendoza, Marcel Reed, Beck. I don't know, Carson Beck, but Julian saying, Simpson, easily top 10, as James Lawrence says, but I think it's a discussion for top 5 for sure.
Throw Dante Moore in there as well.
Yeah, Dante Moore. Good. Comment here: Syracuse scoring at the end was heartbreaking. If you think that is a heartbreak, brother, I don't know what kind of life you have lived, and life you have lived as a Notre Dame fan. I don't know about heartbreaking, but I don't know about that. JFL, good to see you in the chat. You said Carr and the Reese thing. I think Angeli, and you mentioned Angeli's ceiling. I think his ceiling was here's Jack Cohn, here's Steve Angeli.
That's a perfect comparison. Yeah. Yep. And here's the good thing that we saw out of Angeli was in that Penn State game is when he came in. And that's when I like Steve Angeli. After that, I loved him because he has that self-confidence in himself that can't teach. And if you can come in after not winning the job and do that and carry the team, without Steve Angeli, Notre Dame doesn't make the title game last year. Bottom line. And so you got to give him that respect for that, and he gets some credit for that.
When you look at the schedule after Angeli transferred to Syracuse, and I'm like, shit, man. I'm like, this is going to be the Mike Singer Bowl because everyone looks at me as the big Angeli guy in the Notre Dame beat. And I was like, and I was picking which Notre Dame game I would go to on the season. I ended up going to the NC State game, Boise State game. I was like, should I go to Syracuse? Nope. Can't do that. It'll be too stressful.
Too emotional.
And of course, no, Steve Angeli got hurt with the Achilles injury. Notre Dame will play at Syracuse. They'll play at Stanford next Saturday, but they'll play at Syracuse next season. And by all accounts, Steve Angeli will return, and he will start for the Orange next season. Nathan Dennis, $5 super chat. He says, late to the party. Any update on KVA? No update. Marcus Freeman did not talk about Kingston in his press conference. He wasn't asked about it, but we will get an update on Kingston Monday when Freeman meets with the media. Notre Dame will send out an injury report. We'll see if the media reports on something on Kingston before then, but like let's let that situation breathe. Whatever happened to KVA, we'll learn it in due time. Wrapping up here with a couple more plays. Here's another from Jeremiah Love. I mean,
Yeah,
again,
look
you
at Raritan's
see
block
Eli.
there.
Yeah, see Eli.
Yeah. And again, man, some of that chicken fighting. I mean, when you've got a breakaway back, you don't have to kill a guy to get a great block. Do you just see that? Just that little bit, just turn him just a little bit, and you got someone back there like that. That's good stuff.
You
see, look, you even see, was it Knapp that gets beat across his face on the inside? I believe that's Knapp. Yeah. And so, again, a different caliber of running back, that's a 2-yard loss.
Sure. Now you put in your notes, it's time to just shelf Love. You don't want to see him against Stanford, but it's not going to happen. They want
No. I didn't mean against Stanford. I meant the rest of this game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hey, give him that first half against Stanford. Get him. Again, we got to prep him for the Heisman. Hey, he needs to put up numbers in that game. To me personally, I want to see him in that top 3 because not only is that good for him, it's good for the program too. So, get him in there, get him his carries, and I feel like a jerk now saying that because, I want them to do to Stanford what they did against Syracuse. And that's what a good program will do. But going to West Coast time and Mike, don't ask me to do the show with you next week. But, you're playing that late. That's going to be a rough one. But, gotta get some, you're not going to get a lot of eyes on you. So people that vote on that got to wake up the next morning and look at a stat line.
10:30 Eastern time kickoff. Most of you hate that. For me, it sounds like I get the whole day off. I get a whole day to do whatever I need to do. Right around, I can get some Christmas shopping done. I can work in the yard. I can, work on signing day, which is in, less than 2 weeks. Dude, it sounds amazing. And I stay up till 3 a.m. a lot of nights anyway. So what's 3 or 4 a.m? I'm looking forward to it.
We're both dads of small kids. So, I don't know if I can, if I can do that, brother. But no, it's I don't envy that wrap up show next week.
Yeah. I think I'll do it with Eric. Eric said he's going to do it. So it'll be me and Eric live next. Eric Hansen, the legend indeed.
Absolutely. He is so good, man.
He is. Eric's great. So that is going to do it for this show because speaking of babies, I have, grandma just brought over my daughter. She was watching her. My wife's out at a Friendsgiving or something. So baby's been crying for a good 5 or 10 minutes. So I'm going to go down and help with the baby. And I'm going to ask you all to hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the channel for more content, give a quick little round of applause wherever you are for Tim Four, former player, coach, scout, did I say like a lifelong Notre Dame follower? And yeah, he did a great job in his debut on the channel. So again, wherever you are, I know you're going to look weird just giving a little round of applause for Tim, but I thought he killed it today. I'm talking about Notre Dame's 70-71. So Tim, thank you, man. You did great work.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. One of the things that helped me learn to read as a kid was reading BGI. In my crawl space, I have an entire thing of the paper copies of old BGIs with loose emoji. And loose emoji today would be the Chat GPT of Notre Dame football. Wow. Yeah. And Lou was what made me love the history of Notre Dame football. And I remember reading his columns at 8, 9, 10 years old. And that's why I've been a subscriber for
Long
Too
time.
many years, but it'll continue. But no, just nothing but love and respect for blue and gold. And Mike, you're doing a yeoman's job, taking over for someone that couldn't be replaced, and the site's better than ever. And just a dream team there at blue and gold. And just, hey, if this is my one shot, I'm so grateful that you gave it to me, brother.
All right, check's coming in the mail, Tim. All right, so thank you, everyone. Again, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, roundtable show. Me, Eric Hansen, a couple other Blue and Gold writers, and then we get to see what's in the box. We'll unbox this bad boy tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. Again, thank you all for watching. Hit the thumbs up, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks.